So, what kind of jackass is married, has 3 small kids, and commutes 90 miles round trip daily to work in frickin' Dallas City traffic? Okay, so for purposes of this discussion, there are 3 types of riders in question. The first rider doesn't really apply to the conversation because that's the single one, right? That single guy, not married, no kids, nothing to worry about. The second type is the kind that is married, but he rode bikes before he met his wife. And the third kind is that guy that got married, maybe had kids, maybe didn't have kids. Odds are didn't have kids yet, got married, and then started riding bikes. Now, if I had to guess, I would say that the rarest of those combinations is the guy that got married, then had kids, and then started riding motorcycles. And guess who that applies to in this discussion? Yours truly. Now, for a lot of these guys, it's a situation where you've got what they call a midlife crisis, right? You've got a middle-aged man, he's basically freaking panicking because all of a sudden he has uber responsibilities between marriage and fatherhood and everything else, you know, career, and he gets that panic, man. That panic sets in, and he has to start doing stuff that he might get too old to actually be able to do anymore. And hence the midlife crisis is born. Now, for me, I'm 37. I guess you would consider me a middle-aged man. But it wasn't a crisis for me. For me in particular, I was always intrigued by motorcycles. I wasn't really into motorcycles as a child. I rode ATVs here and there, but never had dirt bikes. Always wanted a dirt bike. Wasn't allowed to have a dirt bike. I did have a go-kart and got in a little bit of trouble with that, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, you know, I always was sort of an adrenaline junkie. I do love roller coasters, but in particular when it comes to motorsports and what have you, I was a car guy before I got into bikes. Had a Camaro Z28. It was just about full bolt-on car. Cammed, you know, intake, header, exhaust, cam, a couple other little odds and ends, put down some pretty good horsepower for what it was. You know, and I traded in that car on a truck. But now, I wasn't forced to, right? I was a homeowner at the time, and I just decided that, you know, there's a million different reasons and things that drive people to do what they do when it comes to getting rid of stuff that they put a lot of time and money into. You know, the car wasn't necessarily a money pit. The car ran great. But, you know, at the time I was a homeowner. It was just kind of time for a change, I guess. And so I got out of the car scene. And actually I bought a boat. Yeah, owned a boat for a little while. And as a matter of fact, coincidence would have it, I sold that boat and bought this motorcycle. True story. You know, part of the things that always intrigued me about motorcycles is that I was kind of scared to hell of them. You know what I mean? Like, just the idea of a motorcycle was always so appealing, but the prospect of actually owning one and the potential to lay one down and just get either severely hurt or killed always kind of shied me away from them. But And I was always intrigued by sport bikes, never Harleys and stuff like that. I'm just not into them, man. They're, you know, coming from a Z28, you can probably imagine that they're just not my style. So I've actually always been intrigued by sport bikes, and it's no coincidence that the first and only bike I've ever bought is indeed a sport bike. And, you know, to be honest with you, from here on out, they probably will always be sport bikes. But, you know, all the different perspectives that you can possibly have, whether you're the guy or the gal in the marriage, they can come from all sorts of different directions, right? Like, you can have the wife that just absolutely forbids her man to ever own or ride a motorcycle, and you got the kind that just kind of have an unspoken respect, I guess, for what it is that their man wants to get into, what his hobbies are, you know. And lucky me, that's the kind of wife I have. And at the same time, I don't make stupid financial decisions neither. Everything I ever do is highly calculated. I take my time, I do my research, and as you can guess, that's probably why I ended up on an FZ6R for a sport bike, yeah? Of course, one of the things I wonder is, like, is there like the opposite scenario? Like, is there a situation out there where it's the wife that rides motorcycles and the husband, like, isn't into anything like that? I don't know. That'd be weird. That would definitely be different. But who knows, man? It could happen. But for me, man, you know, yeah, I've got 3 kids. I've got 3 little boys. One of them's still a baby. The other's just barely a toddler. And then I've got a 7-year-old. And I mean, there's so many different ways I can try and tackle this subject, right? It can be a heated discussion for some. It can be a heated discussion for very opinionated people. There's a whole scene, if you will, of people that are absolutely against motorcycles and everything they stand for, and a lot of those people are mothers, you know. But I mean, risk versus reward, wow, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's got to be some reward, right? Obviously there must be, because look at all the risk I take every day. Every day, practically, I ride this thing to work and then ride it home for almost an hour at a time. So, you know, 2 hours on the road, on the highway no less, on the interstate, man. Just, the risk is no doubt very real. So what's the reward? Well, I love it, man. I love riding motorcycles. It is a source of that adrenaline fix. It's a source of just you and the machine on the road. Woo! Like that. Nothing like it. Nothing like it on this scale where it's this affordable and you can do it every day because of the affordability. I mean, it's certainly a lifestyle. Everything from the outfit you wear, how you dress for the ride, the image you present when you're on one of these things, you know. I mean, the topics of discussion on this are virtually endless. But, I mean, if I had a point to this vlog, I just really wanted to explore, you know, just the ideas. Family man, married, kids, rides a sport bike, you know, and like me, commutes daily on a sport bike. To a lot of people, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. even the financial advantage, it's still not justifiable to a lot of people out there. And that's okay, man. People are entitled to their own opinions. For me personally, it's a fine balance between the risk and reward. I know very well I can go down at any given time, any day on this bike. However, I do like to think that I am, shall we say, a cautious and albeit intelligent rider. I mean, you saw me just get on it back there, but you know, everything you do on or in a machine is calculated. Sometimes it's incorrectly calculated, and that's what happens when you wreck. But I like to think that all of my risk that I take on this machine, all of the risks are calculated. And at the end of the day, the reward is there. And you know what? Depending on what type of a person you are watching this video, you may not get it whatsoever. And in that case, only me, the rider, truly gets it. I guess one other benefit or reward, if you will, is just the idea of controlling this machine, right? Getting over that fear you have and being able to harness the power of this machine safely and just, man, having fun doing it. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about, just having fun doing it. I mean, I could say, what's not to love? Look at this beautiful evening in the beautiful sky. But you know, it's not always sunshine and rainbows on these things, man. Look at any of my videos, specifically, matter of fact, look at my Dallas Ridiculousness series and just look at the crazy stuff I encounter out here. And, you know, that tells you right there. And that, you know, it's not always sunshine and rainbows out here. And the other thing about it is, the weather, of course, is not always nice. Sometimes you get caught in rain, and you know, there's plenty of downsides to the bike life. But I guarantee you, if you're a rider, the benefits far outweigh the bad times, man. Hey, and that's why you have guys that lay bikes down, get seriously injured in some cases, and guess what? A year later, they're right back on two wheels, back at it again. So yeah, man, it's definitely beyond a lifestyle in certain ways. It's and you know, beyond just being a hobby. It's like this weird concoction of all those things. And I can tell you, car guys get it too. You know, like I said, I was a car guy. Car guys definitely get it, man. It's very similar, but on two wheels is finitely unique. But one thing's for sure, don't think for a second that I don't realize how freaking lucky I am that I have a wife that she worries, no doubt about it. Hey, don't get me wrong, y'all. She worries about me. I know she does. But she doesn't tell me to stop riding. You know? She even sees all my videos, the Ridiculousness series, you know. But she trusts me, and yeah, you know, it goes without saying, man. That guy was just drinking a beer. Did you see that? Well, anyways, y'all, I don't have a whole lot of daylight left. Waiting for that time to change, man. It's going to be good. But this has been Half Click Up. Thanks for riding along with me. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, do all that stuff they tell you to do. And hey, how many of you guys are married, have kids, and ride? What's your viewpoints on all this? Leave a comment down below. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. It's been Half Click Up, y'all. That's it. I'm out of here. Peace. Goodbye.